Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down everything that you need to know about Frank with some gameplay towards the end. We already know that he is a support guardian, so he works well in a team with a tank and a melee guardian. He doesn't really need anyone specifically to do any better, but I usually bring him with Aerial and Baymax, and I'll do that later on in this video. My Frank is currently at 4 stars, rank 5 and level 50, and he's really close to 5 stars, just 120 shards away. But if you notice, you can no longer get Guardians at 4 stars above rank 5. But I ranked 5 him before the update, so if you're wondering how I was able to do that, that is how. Anyhow, a Guardian receives no new ability from reaching 5 stars, so this breakdown will include everything that you need to know. Everything that you need to know. So moving on to the core ability. Frank has a 60% resistance to wound, shock, and poison. This isn't a full immunity, so he will still take damage from these effects, these damage over time effects, just not as much as other guardians that aren't immune. Some examples of guardians who apply wound are Gaston, Aladdin, and Goofy, etc. Some examples of guardians that apply shock are Eve, Judy, and Buzz. At this moment in time, we have no guardian in the game who applies poison. When Frank gets hit by a critical hit, he gains a 10% defense buff, which maxes out at 10 stacks. This makes him more tanky and sustainable. However, if Frank is burnt, he loses all the defense buffs as they are purged. Some guardians who inflict burn are Anger, Maleficent, and Hades. So when you are playing against these guardians, you want to try to stay away from them and not get burnt at all. So now moving on to the special ability. Frank grows a patch of dense foliage beneath him that lasts for 16 seconds. This is quite a long time and it's 1 second above his cooldown, which is very helpful. So you can more or less stack them. This is quite a sizable area and stays in place, so even if Frank moves, the dense foliage stays where it has been cast. Upon any guardian entering the dense foliage for the first time, they heal 3.75% of their health per second for 4 seconds. So this is a total of 15%. You do not need to be within the dense foliage area when it is being cast. You just need to enter it later and you'll still gain the heal. I'll show you this later with some gameplay. While in the dense foliage, all guardians are immune to root, which makes them a great counter to guardians such as Judy and Gaston. They also receive a 30% range resistance, which is another added source of defense. Now, moving on to the Signet ability. The first time an enemy enters the dense foliage, they are dealt damage and become rooted for 4 seconds. The damage is not the only thing that scales as you gain a signet level. Sorry, the damage is the only thing that scales as you gain a signet level, but the damage is very minimal, so there's not much benefit to it. So I would recommend not going for Frank's signets, but if you get them, it's not the end of the world. The root ability is great for controlling crowds and overall great for taking on enemies. Now, onto the talents. The talents I use are Might of Timbers, Druidic Determination, and Verdant Shroud. Might of Timbers is a great talent that essentially allows your Frank to have a 30% chance to root his enemies while he's in the dense foliage. Usually, when you have Frank in your team, you let the AI control Frank, and luckily the AI decides to throw a lot of heavies, which is great as you will be rooting your enemies from time to time, and 5 seconds is quite a long time in the grand scheme of things. Also, his heavies increase his attack, which is a nice added bonus. The talent Druidic Determination essentially allows Frank to heal some health every time he is struck with a critical hit while he is in the dense foliage. This is great as it allows him to tank more damage and not be as affected as other healers in the game. Now, Verdant Shroud. This is one of my favorite talents in the game, and it allows opponents to have a chance to miss Frank's allies while they are standing in the dense foliage. This is huge, and it allows you to have more sustainability in your whole team. As you can tell, both Frank and his allies gain a lot from being within the dense foliage, so when you play him, you want to make sure they're in it as much as possible. But now I'll show you some gameplay. For this gameplay, I'm going to be bringing you into Expert. So I'm going to be taking you into Expert 3, but instead of usually bringing in one Guardian, I'm going to be bringing in multiple. Actually, I'm gonna go into hard just so I'm not wasting too much energy. So I'll go to 5-8. Let's see. Yeah, that'll do. So I'll need Ariel, Frank, and Baymax. So as you can see, I'm not using Frank as my main guardian. I'm just going to be using Ariel and Baymax also. So let's get into this. Hopefully it doesn't go too quickly. I'll just click any. It's a one-wave battle, so I might not be able to get everything inside. So let's just run around. I'm basically just waiting for that special to show you. Do a little bit of damage. So now, when you're playing Ariel and Baymax and Frank, what you want to do is switch over to Frank and then move forward and then use your special. Because if you use your special while you're all the way over there, it won't reach the others. And as you can see, it's basically as you can see, the dense foliage is staying in place. You can see Frank is at the back, but the foliage is still there. So when I play Frank, I don't usually put Frank inside the dense foliage because he isn't usually getting hit anyways. And the tank and the melee guardian is usually the ones getting targeted. So he's at the back doing his heavies or whatnot. But he does miss out on the opportunity to root the enemies through the talent rooting determination, but it's fine. So as you can see, it's still happening. So I'm gonna let Baymax die because I'm not really taking this any seriously. So let's try to kill this. So you can see I've used the special. Now, as you can see, Ariel isn't in the zone. But if I go into it after it's been cast, I can still heal. You can see below my aerial's health bar there is healing. So you can just basically pop it off whenever you want and then move your guardians towards the area, which is I think very helpful and it allows you to stack them. So as you can see, I use it now and let's pretend my aerial didn't need help. Oh, I'm gonna die here. Be careful. And now I needed it, I'd go over and then just use it. Okay, now I need to concentrate. Let's get this ranged. Oh man, I missed it. This is getting difficult. I should have paid attention. Oh, I'm playing really bad right now. Okay, let's try to show the miss. Let's see if we get lucky. I'll get out for this. He's not going to show a dot. See, as you can see, the the Red Guardian is missing those attacks. I would have actually died there if those attacks hit. So that shows you how much of a useful talent that is. But thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like, and I'll see you next time.